If you're a young parent and you got young kids, please try to start from when they're small. The time is now. It's not 10 years from now. If you have teenagers that are giving you a lot of issues, obviously there's some stuff that you didn't do in the beginning. I would definitely seek some help from outside family members and from yourself to apologize to them for not being consistent enough. And it's never too late. It might be harder at this point, but I don't think it's ever too late. Hey everybody, welcome to No BS Parenting. My name is Pamela and I'm the mom of two outstanding young men. I'm going to give you my opinion on everything parenthood, but I don't recommend my channel for minors because of my potty mouth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future videos. Let's go! Hi everybody, welcome back to No BS Parenting. My name is Pam. Okay, today I wanted to go a little bit back to basics and I'm not going to hit too heavy a topic today. I wanted to talk about teenagers, getting them to the teenage age, and the reasons why some parents have ginormous problems with their teenage children. Someone like a Dr. Phil, once they dig a little bit and look at the sources and the reasons of why teenagers can potentially be, so much work or in such a state of turmoil, it's generally is the same thing. Lack of stability, lack of boundaries, lack of consistency, lack of discipline from day one. It's kind of late to start trying to discipline and teach your kids, difference between right and wrong when they're 15. By that point, the foundation's already created. So I'm just baffled as to why people who don't do that, who don't give boundaries from day one, why they're shocked that their kids are out of control when they reach their teen years. I'll give you a little bit of my 2 cents. My two boys, I was a single mom very young. My littlest guy was 18 months old. My bigger guy was 5 years around when I became a single mom, and I was, broke and tired and stressed, what every single mother can relate to. And one of the things that I really try to do, because I came from a broken home myself, I was very conscious of the impact that this situation was going to have on my kids, because they're, the innocent victims and all of it always. And I was very conscious of how I spoke around them, how my family members spoke around them about the divorce, about their father. I made sure that everybody was very careful not to villainize him, all that kind of stuff. That was super important because they're half of him. So I wanted, they'll make the connection. So I wanted to keep it really stable and really as healthy as possible and as the least traumatic as possible. That was a massive thing for me. The other thing that I wanted to do is, because my home was fairly chaotic when I was a child, I wanted to make sure that I created a stable home, that my kids knew that their house, even that crappy little apartment we lived in, was their haven. They were safe, there was stability, they were supported, and they were loved and adored. That was my goal as their mom, is to make sure that I created an environment at home where they always felt and knew that was going to be a reality. So other than that, the next aspect is very obviously the disciplinary side of it. Disciplining is hard, and everybody has different philosophy on how to do it, but I think there's some basics that come along with raising a well-behaved, respectful kid. And basically one of the simplest foundations of that for me is a mutual respect. Just trying to be respectful as I possibly could to them. I always told them that, I had utter respect for them, and the only difference between them and I is that I had more experience on the planet than they did. So I didn't think that they deserved no less respect. However, my life experience brought a different element in the relationship. So always trying to maintain that respect for them and absolutely demanding it in return, because I earned it every day in all the sacrifices that I made as a mom, as I should have. And just being consistent with that. I apologized actually to them when I, slapped my son, or if I snapped or whatever, if I was impatient, I tried to acknowledge it to them so that they could see that, I was human and I was willing to acknowledge when I made mistakes as their mother. So that was really, really important for me. And that, was a way for me too to kind of present myself as human, that I was going to make mistakes and I would accept their mistakes as well. For me, there were some absolute no's. I did not, they had to be very careful on their tone when they spoke with me, on being absolutely positively respectful. Not yelling or screaming, and no swearing, not talking to me like we're buddies hanging out. There's a clear difference between, parent and child, that kind of stuff. That was the consistent. And I was swift when I gave a punishment. I actually tossed out a gaming system because there were constant fights over the damn thing, drove me crazy. And, after the first warning, the second, okay, guys, third warning, that's it. If I hear any more, it's disappearing, it's gone, it's going away. And of course, it didn't work. And guess what? I grabbed a bag and unplugged the console from the television and all of the cartridges with the games. And as I was packing it in the bag, they were screaming and yelling and crying and begging me not to do it. But I had already made the threat, so I had to fulfill it. I had to follow through. And the next morning when we were dropping them off at daycare, they saw me take the bag, and again, the crying, the screaming, the begging, and I had to do it. I gave it to another fellow single mother for her kids. So that's a super, super important element as far as I'm concerned in disciplining, is being consistent. If you're going to threaten something, you better do it. And just making sure that there was a constant communication line there. I would give them the opportunity to disagree with me if I made a rule. You don't like it, okay, you disagree, sit down and talk to me and tell me why. So we would actually have these debates on, if they wanted to go out later than usual, or go somewhere over a friend's house, or sleep out somewhere at a friend's house. And we would have a discussion. And if I knew I was right, and with whatever boundary or rule I was giving them, I would explain to them that it was, yeah, I know you don't like it. I know you're upset, but I want you to understand that I love you and adore you. And part of my job as your mom is to protect you, because I have more life experience, and you don't have to like it, but you have to follow it. That was the conversation. And then as they got older, there were times where I actually changed my mind. They convinced me that I was being unreasonable and overprotective, and I flipped. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I'm going to back off on this case and give this one to you. And it did happen on numerous occasions. It still happens with my youngest, who's 20. So I think that's the foundation. If your kids understand that the disciplining you're doing is coming from a place of love, it's coming from a place of adoration, it's coming from a place of loving protectiveness, then it's going to work out in the end. Yeah, they're going to be pissed in the moment, and they may have a hissy fit. But you'll see that later on, as they get older, it'll be okay, because now my boys are 20 and 23, and I have a fantastic relationship with them. We talk about everything. We laugh a lot. We genuinely enjoy each other's company. I respect them both for their differences, because they're complete polar opposites. So it all worked out. And they actually benefited from some of the experience that I had before that, because I helped my mom raise my two sisters, because I don't have daughters. So the elements of raising boys and girls is very different. Raising girls is 10 times more stressful. And, the whole safety of your person aspect comes into it much more with girls than it does with boys. And I always told my sisters, present yourself with utmost pride and respect. If you want people to respect you, you have to present yourself that you respect yourself. So that's the, no cleavage, and watch the shortness of the skirts, and, there's no reason to be showing off belly buttons and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think that there's any reason for teenagers, young girls, to be dyeing their hair and getting tattoos and getting belly button piercings and all of that garbage, because these are adult privileges that adults should do for themselves, because they understand what the image is going to give. I mean, you're a perfect example, right? I've got piercings, belly button piercing. I've got a nose piercing. These are things I did in my 30s. If I had a daughter, there is absolutely no way I would allow her to do any of this stuff. She'd be more than welcome to decide to do this stuff when she's older, and can make an educated decision on whether this is the kind of image that she wanted to portray for herself. So maybe it's old-fashioned. Everybody tells me I'm way too old-fashioned, and when it comes to things like this. Well, you know what? It feels right to me. It feels like that's the way it should be. And like I said, my sisters who I helped raise are these fantastic, powerful, intelligent, independent, confident, empathetic, conscientious young women who are doing fantastic in their lives and in their relationships. So I think it all worked out because I see the results of all of it between my sisters and my boys. The proof is in the pudding, right? So it was worth every single discussion, talk. It was really, really hard. It's harder to be disciplinary than not. You know, it's much easier to go, okay, do what you want. I'm tired of dealing with it. I tried not to ever do that because I knew that it was going to have negative repercussions long term. So if you're a young parent and you got young kids, please try to start from when they're small. The time is now. It's not 10 years from now. If you have teenagers that are giving you a lot of issues, obviously there's some stuff that you didn't do in the beginning. I would definitely seek some help from outside family members and from yourself to apologize to them for not being consistent enough. And it's never too late. It might be harder at this point, but I don't think it's ever too late. And I think that, again, that as long as they know and really truly believe that it comes from a place of love, that it'll all work out. So thanks again for visiting. This is one of my cleaner ones. Not a lot of cussing going on today. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for future videos. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.